The Nintendo Switch 2 receives its first must-play exclusive in a fun and frantic 3D platformer where destruction is its own reward. If there's one thing more satisfying to do in games than building, surely it's destroying. The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction understood it, Red Faction Guerrilla understood it, and now it's the time of the geniuses at Nintendo to have a bash at it in the form of Donkey Kong Bananza. Much more than just an endless destruct-a-thon presented in the guise of a wholesome 3D platformer though, Donkey Kong's first full-fat adventure in over 2 decades is also more thoughtful, inventive, and satisfyingly in-depth than you might think. In several ways, DK's lair-hopping adventure follows in Super Mario Odyssey's joyful footsteps. True, yet it also forges its own path by leaning into DK's natural strengths to make demolition the ultimate form of expression and creativity. As the first proper first-party Nintendo Switch 2 game not to confine you to a vehicle, Donkey Kong Bananza makes a good impression through just how drop-dead gorgeous it is. It's been close to 10 years since Mario's hat-throwing adventure impressed in both hybrid and handheld mode after all, so it shouldn't be surprising to learn that DK's explosive solo outing blows it out of the water visually. Colors pop, and the sheer scale of environments astound in almost every different layer you dig deep into. It helps that there's a generous number of them to mash your mitts into. One minute you can find yourself swimming up and through the beautiful rivers of the lagoon layer, or the next you're rolling through the wonderful green fields of the hilltop layer in search of that next shiny Bonandium gem. Because yes, like all good 3D platformers seeking to pay tribute to the genre's golden age, collecting items is very much the name of the game in Donkey Kong Bananza 2. Bringing a touch of spice, of course, is the fact that pretty much every type of surface can be bashed, crashed, thrown, and dug into. A premise as ambitious as this could have easily fallen flat, but in the hands of Nintendo, it's a magic trick that regularly rewards your freedom of expression, as well as Donkey Kong's penchant for destruction. It works so well since every biome you visit is essentially made up of voxels. This, combined with the ability to smash forwards, downwards, and upwards, often means that no chunk of land is safe from DK's endless hunger and search for bananas. Ensuring that each layer you visit on your journey to reach the planet's core still has some identity, however, is the fact that you are indeed limited to how much havoc you can wreak upon them. Unlike, say, a Minecraft world, layers in Bonanza all have a beginning, middle, and end. It just so happens that the gaps between them are generously large. Opting to make each layer be handcrafted by design also allows Nintendo to populate them with a near unfathomable number of hidden secrets, collectibles, and Easter eggs to find. So much so that players wanting to find absolutely everything should expect to spend more than a couple hours alone in some of Donkey Kong Bonanza's biggest biomes. Doing so is always made worth it too, since there are always so many Bonandium gems, costume unlocking fossils, and so much gold to gather. This is a game where quite literally carving your own path means bumping into a prize worth discovering around almost every corner. Not once over the course of the game's 15 to 20 hour runtime does finding something new to discover ever get boring. Of course, joining DK on this bombastic adventure through a whole planet is Pauline, here presented as a younger incarnation trying to discover the power of her own voice. In terms of gameplay, having her sing means revealing the best path in which to reach the next objective, but it also comes in handy to remove the evil Void Company's malicious tape. The latter is the only way to unveil each layer's bonus gates and challenge stages, which serve as a mostly great way to break up the main story by testing your abilities with DK's power set within tightly contained platforming scenarios. While trying to turf surf your way through obstacles down a large hill to reach the finish, or overhead climbing while dodging enemies proves fun enough, it's in these challenge rooms that Bonanza also occasionally pays tribute to the Great Apes 2D days in the Donkey Kong Country series. Working out all the best ways classic mechanics like barrel blasting and rolling works during these scenarios also makes for an interesting setup, which, when combined with all new gameplay features like turf throwing and downwards digging, makes trying to find each bonus stage's Bonandium gems a true test of timing and skill. Better yet, each one being totally optional helps to avoid frustration from ever setting in, since you can always move on and come back later. Speaking of which, completing challenges both in and out of specific stages is given new dimensions and depth as the adventure goes on, as DK collects different types of animalistic Bonanza transformations. Powered by the endless amount of gold you collect, each one has its own specific uses, whether it's Kong Bonanza's ability to punch through particularly tough surfaces, Zebra Bonanza's nature to charge over gaps and bridges at pace, or Ostrich Bonanza's generous flying and gliding sensibilities. Nintendo is definitely keeping the best one a secret for players to discover naturally, but I'd be lying if I said that all were created equally, since the last Bonanza's skills feel particularly undercooked. That said, all do well to make you think differently about your environment and offer new ways to traverse them uniquely. For as great as letting you unleash your destructive creativity as Donkey Kong Bananza is, however, there are a few areas where it's less successful. One is in how gold as a currency becomes almost pointless the further into the adventure you continue. Sure, there's a small penalty on the rare occasion you'll lose all your lives, but it's just so plentiful that gaining it back is rarely ever an issue. Then there's the bosses, which start out seriously inventive, but the game's decision to bring back so many in remixed form eventually grates, since the method to take them down doesn't particularly change all that much. Thankfully, Bonanza's final boss mostly makes up for this by leaning big into visual spectacle and being absolutely, well, bananas. Donkey Kong Bonanza's main verb being destroy could have so easily made exploring stages simple and uninteresting, yet Nintendo has found multiple ways to ensure this is not the case. From encouraging discovery by peppering every layer with countless collectibles and secrets, to making DK and Pauline's powers work harmoniously well together. It succeeds in being a new breed of 3D platformer, the type of which I can comfortably say I've never played before. A few niggles aside, Donkey Kong Bananza might be less elegant than Super Mario Odyssey's brand of precision platforming, but that's by design. The result is something a tad messier, but by no means less creative or charming. We at All Out Gaming give Donkey Kong Bananza a 4 out of 5. So there you have it in terms of our Donkey Kong Bananza review. Do you plan on picking this one up? Let us know in the comment section below. Then why not subscribe to the All Out Gaming YouTube channel to stay up to date with even more videos like this. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.